Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Chris and today we're talking about Lost Cherry by Tom Ford. So on today's video we're going to be talking about this fragrance and also going through the reasons why I will not be purchasing the new cherry editions of this fragrance. So Electric Cherry and Cherry Smoke. This is a 100ml bottle, just so you do know. They do come in 10, 30, as well as 50 and 100 mils. There are no decant bottles of this one as of yet. I don't think that there will be because the price is just astronomical on these fragrances. So going a little bit through this fragrance, I've had this fragrance since launch. So this fragrance was a brand spanking new when I first got it. It was, fresh on the heels of being launched. I had not launched this perfume review channel then, but I did get this one and I was very intrigued by it. I thought it was not necessarily anything unique. I didn't think it was anything, out of this world, but I thought it was a very fun play on words because of the names. And I thought it was a very beautiful bottle. And if anyone knows me and if you want to know something about me, my favorite color is red. And I just fell in love with this glossy, dark cherry red in here. It's kind of like falling into the maroon spectrum, like that red velvet type of look. Very beautiful, interpretation of a bottle. Just so you do know, these bottles are not at all sturdy. They are very thin glass. I did have one that was this size that was a bitter peach and a mandarin amalfi, and they fell off of a shelf and, just splat. Every other bottle was fine. These splat because they're typically, very thin glass. According to Tom Ford, when I worked for them, these perfumes are actually hand-blown Italian glass. That's not necessarily true because you can actually see where they are seamed together. So just so you do know, a tip on fragrances, if you can see the seam here, that's typically a sign of cost-saving measures because they don't create the bottles, one by one. They create, the front piece and then the back piece, and then they join them together. And with hot temperature, they are able to glue them and then smooth out the edges. And that just saves you a lot of money. That also means that they're typically made overseas in places like China, Vietnam, Cambodia. Nothing wrong with that. It's a glass bottle at the end of the day. But, for the price point that this is, it should be the top of the line, the creme de la creme, and it's really not, which is, it's fairly sad. So let's go through the notes of this guy. So when I first got this fragrance, I had very limited information as to what the notes were on this one. I believe that Tom Ford only announced that it had, cherry liqueur, cherry, almond, bitter almond, and black cherry. This fragrance has a lot more. I think brands have recreated this scent. Dossier does make one that smells identical to this, by the way. So if you like this scent, then definitely go and get the Dossier version because this is pretty expensive. Just so you do know, the price of this one, which is like I said, it's a 100ml bottle, it would be $5.50. When I got this one, it was 400 and something when I first got it. I can't remember exactly the price off the top of my head, but now it's 550, which is astronomical. It's ridiculous. If you were to do a price breakdown for this one per mil, it would be $5.50 per mil. So every time you spray, it's costing you $5, which it's pretty bad. And if you're a heavy sprayer, you are paying $11 or, maybe even 15 or 16 bucks. So very expensive. It is a nice fragrance, but it is very, very expensive to own one of these, and it's really not worth it. The hype around this brand has really put a sour taste in my mouth because I used to love the brand. When it first launched, I said, yes, he's pretentious. I remember in training, they said that he was the first ultra luxury brand. And I'm like, what about Chanel? What about Louis Vuitton? What about Gucci? What about, Dior? But yes, he labeled himself the first ultra luxury brand, and that put a sour taste in my mouth. But, the fragrances were very unique at the time. He was doing some groundbreaking things. He had just launched Oud Wood. Neroli Portofino had won a bunch of awards, and I was very much into this fragrance overall. So, definitely nice. This came out later after Fucking Fabulous was launched. They launched this guy. It was very popular, and it wasn't so expensive then. But like I said, if you get, for example, a 10ml bottle of this one, The price would be $80 on Sephora's website. Pretty expensive. That's $8 per ml, so very expensive. And then if you get the smaller bottle, which is typically what everyone's gonna get, with these more expensive bottles, none of us want to spend the full price of the full big one because it's a lot to commit to. But the 15 ml bottle or 1.7 ounce bottle, which is the most popular one whenever they sell these scents, is $390. So by $10, it's not $400. That's what this one cost when it was launched, the 100 ml bottle. Think about that. So $7.80 for the smaller version of this one, which is, like I said, the 50 ml bottle. Very expensive. Does this have longevity and performance? Yes, it definitely does. I do think that this fragrance does last. It does, stay on the body, but it smells like an expensive candle. I wrote down that essentially this fragrance is sexy. It is sultry. The fun play on words is very nice. When you do spray it, it does have that nice cherry liqueur scent to it. So that's very nice because it's very unique in that aspect that not a lot of other fragrances have this exact type of note breakdown or this type of scent. However, with that being said, this fragrance overall smells like a very nice, ultra premium candle. It smells like something you'd probably buy for the fall season because it has that, sweet, that, creaminess, that like cinnamon type of cherry liqueur, almond scent to it. So definitely it is one that you really have to love. And I have found that a lot of people do like cherry scents. Now, the problem is the price point of this one I felt like was a little bit more justified because he was new to doing a play on words with fragrances. So Fucking Fabulous, Lost Cherry, then he did a Rose Prick, Tuberose New. Those are all, double play on words essentially. And so it was a little bit more justified. It was, kind of like his naughty line, if you will. So and Bitter Peach too is another double play on words, but then it became something else, and now he's doing the Electric Cherry and Cherry Smoke. They smell fine, except, cherry is a synthetic note. Cherry is one of those scents that typically cannot be extracted, at least for perfumery. It can be extracted for like a sundae, you can smell cherries, but when it comes to perfumery oil, most of the time they use synthetic components because if you were to extract it, it does not have longevity. It's just like bergamot. There is a certain way to extract bergamot. It's very expensive, of course, but it does not last very long. So they usually mix it with synthetic components. I doubt that Tom Ford went through the entire, hard work and process of extracting cherry for scents to then layer a synthetic note on top of it, especially with the popularity of this fragrance. He's probably more than likely using synthetic notes made in a lab. Lab notes that are synthetic sometimes can be very expensive because they are using, very rare ones or ones that have, not necessarily patents, but they're exclusive to certain labs. So that is the case with this one because a perfumer for this fragrance is exclusive to another perfume lab. It's not in-house perfumer for the fragrance itself. So yes, I can kind of see the expensiveness of this one. It shouldn't be the price that it is, though. I can see anywhere from like $300 for this or $400. Maybe it's a little, top of the line, especially when there's other brands like Louis Vuitton, which you can get a lot cheaper, or Dior. Definitely, it is one of those things where you're like, ugh. And the new ones, note breakdown wise, does anyone need cherry with, citric notes and musk? Not really. No one wants to smell like a cherry limeade at that point. So that's what you'll be smelling like, or a very cheap shampoo. Cherry smoke, I could see a little bit more because cherry smoke, does play with the originality of this one. Adds those deep smoky notes to it. That can be very well, but at the same time, the price for a synthetic cherry scent, it's just a no for me. Do I recommend this one? Absolutely. If you are able to find this at, the cosmetics company store, which is their outlet, or if you're able to find a really good deal on Lost Cherry, certainly do that. Do be careful because Tom Ford is one of those brands that is highly, sought after. So there are a lot of counterfeit products out there. So just be careful when you go out and buy one of these because they tend to have quite a bit of counterfeit products out there. Like I said, check it out if you want to smell those ones. If you are interested in, the Lost Cherry world, it's a nice world. It's not a world that I would definitely say is worth the price. So thank you so much for watching today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to comment down below what your thoughts on this fragrance are. Are you going to get electric cherry as well as cherry smoke? Are you not? Who knows? Let me know. Also give the video a thumbs up down below and subscribe for more fragrance related content. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye.